Hello, 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 good morning. How are you? Hope you're all doing fantastically awesome and amazing on this very cold. Here it's cold and wet and boring and yucky Monday morning, but we're not complaining, right? Because we get to actually be here and have all of the fun. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is something that I shared in one of my programs over the weekend that I thought was really helpful. It's something that I've used a lot. It's something that's really helpful for many people. Let me just move this. Hang on a second. And it is, hello. Just need to move that up. Let's see if I can get that light working better. I'm sitting out in my kitchen today because I feel like it, and I just really wanted to I just felt like I needed a bit of a change of space. So one of the things that we know tends to come up a fair bit is mindset issues, right? We all know this when you're doing stuff, when you're working, when you're growing, when you're trying to come up with ideas, when you're doing all of the things that you know that you really should be doing, when you've got procrastination, self-talk, anything like that, when any of that stuff comes up, let's be honest, it's really freaking annoying. Would that be? I think that's a fair call. It's really freaking annoying. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And one of the things that I think is super important is to reframe our thinking. And so a big part of what I do personally, almost literally on a daily basis, and quite often it happens very, very quickly, is I'll reframe a lot of what I'm thinking to get myself into a more positive mindset, and good morning, Linda, and into a more, positive mindset, to shift my frequency, to shift my vibe. Because I know if I'm sitting here feeling like, oh my God, I don't want to play today, which I still have days like that, right? If I'm feeling like I don't want to play, like it's all just bleh, then it can be really hard to do the things that you need to do. Now, I've talked a little bit before about my journey with anxiety. I do get anxious, not as often these days as what I have in the past, but it is something that I do deal with, I wouldn't say on a regular basis necessarily, but certainly on at various different times, right? It's not like I've gone 6 months without being anxious. I can say it's been particularly anxious a few days with Joe being in surgery and, worrying about all that sort of stuff. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is something that I tend to do really automatically, but I broke it down and I thought it would be helpful for you guys because it's been really helpful for clients in the last week. And this is the 1 to 10 rule to shift your funk. Now, I know that most of the time what we get told to do is to, if we're feeling a little bit like, bleh, it's like, okay, no, just almost ignore it and put that thing to the side and get on with it and shift your thinking and go do something and move and whatever else. And that's great. And I think this strategy is helpful in different times and different places. So the strategy with this, what you want to do is when you have your negative thoughts, and it could be, oh, I'm really bored, I don't feel like it. Is this what I even want to do? I've had times where it's like, I feel like I'm wading through quicksand. This is all just very tough. Like, is it even worth doing? Like, do I even want to have a business? All of that kind of stuff. And I know that I'm not alone in thinking these things at various different times throughout my life, throughout my journey, throughout this business adventure, even though we've been doing it for a decade. The thing that you want to do is write down those negative thoughts. So here's what I would do. Grab an A4 piece of paper and put a line down the middle, and you're going to list the negative thoughts on the left-hand side, right? I actually want you to capture them. I want you to write them down. Now, I know that what we generally do is we say, oh, be positive, or, reframe it really quickly, or, don't pay attention to it. I want you to use this as the pivot point to actually create some positivity. So here's what you're going to do. With your number one negative thing, so let's say it's I'm bored, or I don't want to feel broke anymore, or no one's responding, or nobody loves me, whatever the negative thing is, write it down on the left-hand side. And then what I want you to do over on the right is come up with 10 things that you do want in almost like in retaliation of that negative thing. So here's what happens. That negative thing, if you imagine that it weighs a ton, right? Negative energy is really heavy. And I know that you know this because you will recognize it in your own body, in your own state, in your own creativity, in your own productivity. You'll know if you're feeling a little bit like, it feels heavier, right? It feels heavier in your body, heavier in your chest, heavier on your shoulders. It's when we say like we've got the weight of the world on our shoulders. It's a really heavy negative energy. So what we want to do is shift that and raise your vibe, raise your frequency if you like, so that we can actually vibrate, oscillate at a higher frequency. So what you need to do is go, all right, so I'm bored. I want to feel, or I am feeling excited. I am motivated. I am, you're not going to say not bored. I am creative. I am inventive. I am inspired. I am motivated. I am thrilled. I am loving this. I love the dance of creativity. I love feeling like this. And so what will happen is you've got this really heavy one, and now you've got 10 lighter ones that will actually outweigh that really heavy thing that you've been thinking about, right? Let me know that this is making sense. So it's a bit of a journaling exercise, and I want you to be really vigilant around it and get at least 10 really good things that outweigh. So what happens is like you'll have that next negative thing and you'll be like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm just so tired. Might be that thing that's being unhelpful at the moment. So I'm so tired would go on the left, and then on the right you're like, I am energized, I am thrilled, I am pumped, I'm excited, I am motivated, I am moving, I am vibrant, I am glowing, I am thrilled, I am whatever else comes up for you. And so what happens, thank you Tamara, is that you end up kind of like whipping yourself up into a little bit of a frenzy. So Tony Robbins talks about getting into beautiful state or getting into peak state. Abraham Hicks talks about getting into the vortex. What you want to do is shift your energy and get yourself into that place, because when you get into that place, that's when you start to find the reasons for going, all right, well, you know I felt like I was bored, but actually this is how I really am. This is how I really feel. And then I'm tired. No, this is how I really am. This is how I really feel. Because what happens is like, if you imagine, you know, like a record, right, that you play on a record player, and I had the little needle that would go through the grooves. Some of you will remember records. And on the record player, if there was a scratch on the record, it would jump and it would keep replaying over and over and over and over. And this is what the I'm bored, I'm tired, all of that stuff on the left-hand side, this is what happens. It just keeps skipping and repeating and is unhelpful, right? And then that self-talk just continues and carries on. So instead of going, well, this is crappy, you're gonna lift that up and play the next track. So manually move it to the next track, to something that's more upbeat, more uplifting, more motivating, more inspiring. And that's really what I want you to do. So I encourage you to document anything that feels bleh, and then shift it with at least 10 things on the other side. So we're repatterning and you're rewiring. Throughout the day, if you find you're slipping yourself back, then go write it down again and do it again. Repeat the process as many times as it takes to get you into that really positive, good, forward momentum, higher frequency state, because you're going to create much better content. You're going to come up with much better ideas. You're going to have much better connections when you're in that state over on the right-hand side. So that is that I wanted to share with you today. Hey, Sandy. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, of course, is that we've got the Queen of Contentology competition happening starting on the 1st of November. And this is where every day for 30 days, you get a content prompt And so long as you go through and you do all of the content prompts, you go into the running for winning a $1,000 cash prize. And that's not just Nicola cash, that's actually cash in your pocket. You can see the link in the comments if you're watching on Facebook. If you are listening on audio, it is nicolajmorass.com/Contentology. Now, the premise around Contentology, the reason that I created this program is because it is so important for people to get to know you, who you are, what you're all about, outside of just all the business content that you're doing. So what I do is I give you a prompt every single day so that you don't have to think about it. You just write or film whatever it is that comes up for you. You go share it out into the internet and you will see, I promise you, you will see your engagement increase, your motivation for your content will increase, the responses that come back in will increase, your sales will increase. It's just what happens, and it's what everybody who has been through this program before has experienced. It's just now that after doing it from June, July, August, September, October, for 5 months, I've decided to go, all right, let's see what else we can create. What else can we get people to do so that you get to see and experience the same results as what other people have. So jump in on that. If you've got any questions about it, make sure you reach out and let us know. Otherwise, get working on this 1 to 10 rule. There's a fly, that's annoying. Get working on this 1 to 10 rule. Shift your thinking from being that on the left-hand side, from being that tired, stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, whatever it is, and then pivot over to the other side and just focus on rewiring your energy, rewiring your mind, and get things moving. I can't wait to hear how you go with it. So on that note, you know what you need to do. Get out there, go help some people, have a whole ton of fun doing it, and remember that the world is ready for your brand of awesome. Have an amazing day, and I will, of course, see you tomorrow. Bye.